Cynthia Hopkins was having the worst night of her life when the most dangerous man in Boston decided she was his. The slap came out of nowhere. Her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend, drunk and furious, connecting hard enough to make her ears ring. The hotel ballroom went silent. 200 of Boston's elite turned to watch the waitress with the bleeding lip become tonight's entertainment. "Stay away from Tyler," the woman shrieked, mascara streaming. "He's mine now, you desperate—" "I'm working." Cynthia's voice shook, but she kept her chin up. "I haven't spoken to Tyler in 6 months." "Liar, he told me you've been texting him, begging him to come back." "That's enough." The voice cut through the chaos like a blade. Deep. Cold. Absolute. Cynthia turned to find Dermont Blake standing 3 feet away, his ice-blue eyes fixed on her assailant with the kind of look that probably made grown men wet themselves in boardrooms. "Mr. Blake, I'm so sorry for the disturbance." The hotel manager appeared, sweating. "We'll handle this immediately." "You won't handle anything." Dermont's gaze never left Cynthia's face, lingering on her split lip. "Security will escort these two out. The woman for assault, the man." He glanced at Tyler, who'd gone pale. "For breathing my air." "Sir, I don't think you understand. She's bleedin'." Something lethal entered Dermont's tone. "In my event, at my hotel, which makes this my problem." He extended a hand to Cynthia. "Come with me." It wasn't a request. Cynthia's supervisor grabbed her arm. "Mr. Blake, she's on duty. I can't just—" "She's fired." Dermont pulled out his phone, typed something. "There, I just bought this catering company. She doesn't work for you anymore. She works for me." The world tilted. "What?" Cynthia and her supervisor said simultaneously. "Conference room, 3rd floor now." Dermont was already walking, clearly expecting her to follow. Cynthia should have run, should have told this insane billionaire exactly where he could shove his commands. Instead, she followed. Because her lip was bleeding, her ex was a lying bastard, and Dermont Blake had just bought an entire company in the 30 seconds it took to fire her supervisor. That was either terrifying or impressive. Probably both. The conference room was all glass and steel, overlooking Boston's glittering skyline. Dermont gestured to a leather chair, then retrieved a first aid kit from a cabinet like he'd done this before. Sit. I'm fine. Your lip is split. Sit down, Cynthia." She froze. "How do you know my name?" "I know everything about you." He moved closer, antiseptic wipe in hand. "Cynthia Marie Hopkins, 24. Father died 3 years ago, left your family $2 million in debt. You're working 4 jobs trying to keep your grandmother's house and send your brother to college. You take online classes when you can stay awake. And 6 months ago, your boyfriend left you for a trust fund brat who just assaulted you in front of 200 witnesses." The room spun. "You... what?" "Tilt your head back." His fingers caught her chin, surprisingly gentle. "This will sting." It did, but not as much as realizing this stranger had researched her entire life. "Why?" Her voice came out whisper soft. "Why what? Why do you know all that? Yet, why did you buy the catering company? Why am I here?" Dermont cleaned the cut with careful precision, his ice-blue eyes focused on her mouth. "Because 3 months ago, I bought your father's debts. Every single one. I own your family's destruction, Cynthia, and I've been waiting for the right moment to tell you." Her breath caught. "You're the one? The anonymous creditor?" "Not anonymous anymore." He stepped back, studying his work. "You'll bruise, but it's not deep." "What do you want?" The question came out sharper than intended. "Money we don't have? The house? What?" "I want you to marry me." Silence. Then Cynthia laughed, a slightly hysterical sound. That's insane. That's business. He pulled out a contract from his briefcase, set it on the table. 1 year. You play the devoted wife at social functions, live in my penthouse. I smile for the cameras. In exchange, I clear every debt. Your brother goes to MIT. Your grandmother's house becomes yours, free and clear. Plus $50,000 a month for your trouble. This is... She couldn't find words. People don't actually do this. Arranged marriages aren't... I do what works. His expression was unreadable. And you're perfect. Perfect for what? My family's trying to force me into marriage with the senator's daughter. Social climbing nonsense I don't have time for. But if I'm already married to someone completely unsuitable, someone they'd never expect, they can't touch me. He leaned against the table, arms crossed. You get everything you need. I get freedom. Simple transaction. Nothing about this is simple. Cynthia stood on shaking legs. You're asking me to... I'm offering you a way out. His voice softened slightly. I know you're drowning, Cynthia. I know you work yourself sick trying to save a family that's already gone. Your grandmother has 6 months, maybe less. Your brother's deferring his dreams to work minimum wage. And you? His eyes held hers. You're 24 and you've never lived a single day for yourself. The truth of it hit like a second slap. How do you know about my grandmother? I told you. I know everything. He pushed the contract toward her. Read it. Think about it. You have 48 hours to decide. And if I say no? Something flickered in his expression. Then I'll collect the debts the traditional way. Lawyers, foreclosure, bankruptcy, your choice. He was blackmailing her, offering salvation with one hand while holding a gun with the other. You're a bastard, she whispered. Yes. No shame, no apology. But I'm a bastard with a solution to your problem. The wedding would be in 2 days. City Hall, quick and legal. After that, you move into the penthouse and we start playing house. He headed for the door, then paused. Oh, and Cynthia, about the physical side of marriage. Her face burned. I don't force women into my bed. His voice was flat. Whatever happens between us will be your choice. But fair warning, I'm a patient man, and I always get what I want eventually.
If you're enjoying the story so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow and lets me keep bringing you more amazing love stories. Alright, back to the story.
Then he was gone, leaving her alone with a contract and a diamond ring that probably cost more than her entire life. Cynthia touched her split lip, tasted copper, and realized the worst night of her life had just become an impossible choice. Marry a ruthless stranger, or lose everything. She had 48 hours to decide. But watching Dermont Blake walk away, something told her the decision had already been made the moment he'd said her name. Like he'd known she'd say yes before she did. Cynthia didn't go home that night. She sat in a 24-hour diner with the contract spread across the sticky table, reading the same paragraph for the 20th time while her coffee went cold. The party of the first part agrees to cohabitate with the party of the second part for a period of no less than 12 months. Legal speak for, you'll live with a man you don't know for a year and pray he's not a serial killer. Mon, you look like you're deciding whether to murder someone or marry them. Cynthia's head snapped up. A woman slid into the booth across from her, mid-30s, black, wearing scrubs and the exhausted expression of someone finishing a double shift. Sorry, the woman said, gesturing at Cynthia's papers. Nurse, we're trained to spot crisis decisions. I'm Shauna. Cynthia. She should have lied. should have told this stranger to mind her business. Instead, she heard herself say, "If someone offered you everything you needed to save your family, but the price was marrying a man who scares you, would you do it?" Shauna's eyebrows rose. Scares you how? Like danger? Or like he makes you feel things you're not ready for? The question hit too close. Because Dermont Blake did scare her, but not because she thought he'd hurt her. He scared her because of the way her pulse had jumped when his fingers touched her chin. The way something hot and unfamiliar had coiled in her stomach when he'd said, "I always get what I want." She was a virgin with 4 jobs and a dying grandmother. She had no business feeling anything for a billionaire who'd blackmailed her into marriage. Both, maybe, Cynthia admitted quietly. Shauna studied her for a long moment. Then here's what I know from 20 years of watching people make hard choices. Fear means it matters. If you weren't scared, the decision wouldn't mean anything. She stood, squeezed Cynthia's shoulder. "Good luck, girl. Whatever you choose." After she left, Cynthia stared at the contract until the words blurred. Then she pulled out her phone and typed 4 words. "I'll do it." Tomorrow? The response came in seconds. Tonight. I'm sending a car. Her stomach dropped. What? 3 dots appeared. Then, you said yes. Why wait? Unless you're having second thoughts, it was a challenge, a test. Cynthia grabbed her coat and the contract, left cash on the table, and walked outside just as a black Mercedes pulled up. The driver handed her a garment bag through the window. "Mr. Blake says you'll need this." Inside was a white dress. Simple, elegant, her exact size. Of course, he knew her size. He probably knew her blood type. "Where are we going?" she asked. The driver smiled. "To get you married, Miss Hopkins." City Hall at 2 a.m. was eerily empty except for a sleepy judge who looked like he'd been bribed with enough money to fund a small country. Dermont stood by a window in a black suit that probably cost more than her car, hands in his pockets, completely at ease. Like marrying strangers in the middle of the night was just another Tuesday. He turned when she entered, and something flickered in his ice-blue eyes as they traveled over the white dress. "You came. You didn't give me much choice." Cynthia clutched her small purse, the one containing everything she'd grabbed from her apartment. "This is insane. We should wait. Do this properly." Properly is a church wedding with 300 guests and 6 months of planning. He moved closer. "This is efficient. Sign the license, say the words, go home as Mr. and Mrs. Blake. Clean. Simple." "Nothing about this is simple." "No," he agreed. "But it's necessary for both of us." The judge cleared his throat. "Shall we begin?" It took 7 minutes to destroy Cynthia's entire future. 7 minutes of repeating words that felt like a foreign language. And 7 minutes of Dermont's hand holding hers, warm and solid and completely surreal. 7 minutes until the judge pronounced them husband and wife and suggested Dermont could kiss his bride. Dermont's eyes met hers, a question in them. Cynthia's heart hammered. Her first kiss, in front of a bored judge at 2 a.m. with a man who'd blackmailed her into marriage. This was not how she'd imagined this moment as a girl. "We don't have to," Dermont said quietly. For the first time, his voice held something other than cold certainty. Almost like consideration. But something reckless rose in Cynthia's chest. Something that whispered, "If you're doing this, do it all the way, no half measures." She stood on her toes and pressed her lips to his. It was supposed to be quick, perfunctory, a box to check. But the moment their mouths touched, Dermont's hand came up to cup her face. the same gentle grip he'd used to clean her split lip, and everything shifted. The kiss deepened, slowed. His thumb brushed her jaw as he tilted her head, fitting their mouths together like he was solving an equation. Like he'd been thinking about this for longer than the 6 hours since he'd proposed. Cynthia's hands fisted in his jacket, her entire body lighting up with sensations she'd only read about. Heat. Want. A hunger that terrified her. When they broke apart, she was breathing hard. Dermot looked rattled, just for a second. Then the mask slammed back down. "Well," the judge said cheerfully, "we're done here." Dermot signed the license with quick, efficient strokes. "Send the certificate to my office." Outside, the Mercedes waited. Dermot held the door, on his expression unreadable. "Where are we going?" Cynthia asked. "Home." He slid in beside her. "Our home now. You'll have your own room, your own space." "I'm not an animal, Cynthia. Just a manipulative bastard who bought me." His lips twitched, almost a smile. "You're not what I expected." "What did you expect?" "Gratitude. Compliance. Maybe some tears." He studied her in the dim light. "Not a woman who looks at me like she's planning where to hide my body." "I'm still deciding between the harbor and the basement." This time he actually smiled, a real one that transformed his entire face from coldly handsome to devastatingly beautiful. "You'll fit in with my family perfectly. They've been trying to kill me for years." The comment should have been a joke, but something in his tone suggested it wasn't entirely. "Why did you really choose me?" Cynthia asked. The truth this time. Dermot was quiet for so long she thought he wouldn't answer. Then, 3 months ago, I went to a charity gala, bored out of my mind, ready to leave. Then a waitress spilled champagne on my shoes, looked me dead in the eye, and apologized like she meant it. No simpering, no flirting, just genuine remorse from someone who'd made an honest mistake. He turned to look at her. "Do you know how rare that is? Someone who sees me as a person instead of a bank account? So you researched my entire life because I apologized?" "I researched your life because you didn't know who I was. And when I found out about your father's debts, about everything you were carrying." He paused. "I saw an opportunity that benefited us both. I'm not a good man, Cynthia. But I'm not cruel. You needed help. I needed a wife my family wouldn't choose. It's transactional." "Transactional," she repeated. Like what had just happened in City Hall. Like the kiss that still burned on her lips. The car pulled up to a building that looked like it belonged in a magazine. All glass and modern architecture and money. Dermot helped her out, his hand lingering on hers a moment too long, then led her through a lobby that screamed, "You don't belong here." The elevator ride to the penthouse took 45 seconds. 45 seconds of silence and stolen glances, and Cynthia's heart trying to beat out of her chest. The penthouse was not what she expected. Yes, it was massive and expensive and filled with art that probably cost more than she'd earn in a lifetime. But it also felt empty. Like a showroom. Like no one actually lived here. Your room." Dermot opened a door to a suite bigger than her grandmother's entire house. "Bathroom through there. Closet stocked. I had my assistant guess your style. If she got it wrong, hire someone to fix it." "Just like that? Hire someone? You're a Blake now. Act like it." He turned to leave, then paused. "Cynthia? The split lip. Your ex-boyfriend. Does he know where you live?" The question caught her off guard. "Why?" "Because if he comes near you again, I'll destroy him. Legally and professionally. Consider it a wedding gift." He closed the door before she could respond. Cynthia stood alone in her new bedroom, still wearing the white dress, her lips still tingling from a kiss that shouldn't have felt like that. She'd married a stranger, a ruthless, calculating stranger who just threatened her ex-boyfriend with complete destruction like he was ordering coffee. This was her life now. For the next year, Dermont Blake owned her debts, her family's future, and apparently, based on that kiss, a piece of her she hadn't known she could give. She touched her lips, remembering the heat of his mouth. "I always get what I want," he'd said. Cynthia looked around the luxury suite that felt like a beautiful cage and wondered what, exactly, Dermont Blake wanted from her, and why part of her desperately wanted to find out. Cynthia woke up to sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows and a horrifying realization. She'd married a stranger 12 hours ago and had no idea where anything was, including coffee. She found a robe in the closet, silk, expensive, but definitely not hers, and ventured into the penthouse like she was exploring a museum after hours. The kitchen was all marble and stainless steel and appliances she'd need an engineering degree to operate. She was staring at an espresso machine that looked like it belonged on a spaceship when a voice behind her said, "It's temperamental. Let me." Cynthia spun. Dermont stood in the doorway wearing gray sweatpants and nothing else. Nothing else. Her brain short-circuited. He was built. Not gym rat bulky, but lean muscle that suggested he actually used his body for something other than sitting in boardrooms. A scar cut across his ribs. Thin, deliberate. Surgical, maybe. "You're staring," he said, moving past her to the espresso machine. "You're half naked in the kitchen." "It's my kitchen." He pulled out 2 mugs. "How do you take your coffee?" "I don't know. However normal people take it." His lips twitched. "Cream and sugar it is." They stood in awkward silence while the machine hissed and gurgled. Cynthia pulled the robe tighter, hyper-aware that she was wearing nothing underneath but borrowed silk. "So," she said finally, "what happens now? Do you have a manual? How to be a fake wife for billionaires?" "Page 1. Stop calling it fake." Dermont handed her a mug. "As of 3 a.m., you're legally Cynthia Blake. The marriage is real, even if the circumstances are unusual." "Unusual? That's one word for it." "Another word is mutually beneficial." He leaned against the counter. "You get financial security. I get freedom from my family's matchmaking. We both get what we need." "And what do you need?" Exactly?" The question came out more challenging than intended. Dermont's eyes sharpened, that predatory focus she was starting to recognize. "Right now? I need you to attend a family dinner tonight. My mother's hosting. She'll want to meet her new daughter-in-law." Cynthia nearly dropped her mug. "Tonight? I can't. I'm not ready." "You'll never be ready, but you'll do it anyway." He set down his coffee. "Rule 1 of this arrangement. When I say we have an obligation, we fulfill it. Together. No arguments. I don't take orders. You took vows." His voice dropped. "For better or worse, remember? The reminder of their wedding, of that kiss, hung between them like smoke." Cynthia's chin lifted. "Fine. But I need clothes, a dress code, some idea of what I'm walking into. My assistant will handle the clothes. As for what you're walking into..." Dermont's expression went carefully neutral. "My mother is Margaret Blake, socialite, board member of half the charities in Boston. She's been trying to marry me off to Senator Whitmore's daughter for 2 years. And you just showed up married to a waitress instead. Former waitress. You're unemployed now. Gee, thanks for the reminder." You're welcome. Was that humor in his voice? My mother will hate you on principle. My sister will interrogate you. My father won't acknowledge you exist unless there's a business advantage. Standard family dinner. Your family sounds delightful. They're vultures. He moved closer, close enough that Cynthia had to tilt her head back to maintain eye contact. Which is why you're going to smile, play the devoted wife, and let them underestimate you. Can you do that? I've been invisible my entire life. I'm excellent at being underestimated. Something flickered in his eyes. Approval? Respect? Good. Because tonight you're going to stop being invisible. Tonight, you're going to be the most important person in that room. Why? Because you're mine. The possessiveness in his tone sent heat cascading through her. And the Blakes protect what's theirs. Before Cynthia could respond, her phone rang. Elijah's name flashed on the screen. She answered. Hey, MIT called. Her brother's voice cracked with emotion. The full ride. It's real. They said the debt clearance went through, the housing is covered, everything. Sin, what did you do? Her throat tightened. I fixed it. Fixed it how? The lawyer said something about a marriage contract. I got married. The words felt surreal. I'd last night, to someone who could help us. Silence. Then, you married a stranger for money? Sin, that's survival. She turned away from Dermont, lowering her voice. You get to go to MIT. Grandma keeps her house. We're not drowning anymore. That's all that matters. You matter, Elijah said desperately. Your life matters. Your happiness. I'm fine. You're lying. Maybe. But what choice did she have? Go to school, Eli. Live your life. Let me handle mine. After she hung up, she felt Dermont's presence behind her like a physical weight. Your brother? He asked. Worried I sold my soul. Did you? Cynthia turned. I don't know yet. Ask me in a year. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, jaw tightening. My mother knows. Already? She has spies everywhere, and she's just moved dinner to lunch. Oz in 2 hours. He looked at Cynthia with something that might have been apology. Welcome to the family, Mrs. Blake. Hope you're ready to bleed. 2 hours later, Cynthia stood in front of a mirror wearing a dress that cost more than her last 3 paychecks combined. The assistant, a terrifyingly efficient woman named Lauren, had transformed her. The navy blue dress fit like it was made for her, elegant without being showy. Her natural hair was styled in a way that looked effortless, but probably took skills she didn't possess. Minimal makeup that somehow made her look expensive. She looked like she belonged, which meant she looked like a liar. You look perfect, Dermont said from the doorway. He'd changed into a charcoal suit, every inch the billionaire businessman. I look like I'm playing dress up. You look like my wife. He crossed the room, pulled a small box from his pocket. You're missing something. Inside was a wedding band. Not the enormous diamond engagement ring. That was already on her finger. But a simple platinum band etched with tiny hummingbirds. Cynthia's breath caught. Hummingbirds? Your grandmother has them in her garden. I saw them when I researched you. He slid the ring onto her finger. I thought you'd appreciate something personal, something real in all this performance. The gesture was so unexpected, so thoughtful, that Cynthia didn't know what to say. Thank you, she managed. His fingers lingered on hers. Don't thank me yet. You haven't met my mother. The Blake family estate looked like it had been stolen from a European countryside and dropped into Massachusetts. It had all stone and ivy and old money. Cynthia's hands shook as Dermont helped her from the car. Breathe, he said quietly. They can smell fear. That's reassuring. Here's what you need to know. My mother will try to intimidate you. Don't let her. My sister Isabel will ask invasive questions. Answer vaguely. My father will ignore you unless you prove useful. Ignore him back. He turned her to face him. And if anyone makes you uncomfortable, you give me a signal and we leave. What signal? Touch your wedding band. I'll be watching. The tenderness in the gesture, the protection, made Cynthia's chest tighten. This was supposed to be transactional. Business. So why did Dermont Blake keep doing things that felt personal? The front door opened before they reached it. A woman stood there. Late 50s, impeccably dressed, and with Dermont's ice blue eyes and a smile that didn't reach them. "Darling," she said, voice dripping false warmth. "And this must be the girl. Not your wife, not Cynthia, the girl." Cynthia felt Dermont tense beside her. "Mother," he said coolly, "this is Cynthia, my wife." How sudden. Margaret Blake's gaze traveled over Cynthia like she was evaluating livestock. "I don't believe we've met. What family are you from, dear?" "The Hopkins family." Cynthia kept her voice steady. "My father was Leonard Hopkins." Recognition flashed across Margaret's face. "The bankrupt developer? How unfortunate." "Mother," Dermont's voice held warning. "I'm just making conversation." Margaret stepped aside. "Do come in. Everyone's dying to meet Dermont's." Surprise. The house was full of people, extended family, business associates, but all dressed impeccably, all turning to stare as Dermont and Cynthia entered. Cynthia felt like an exhibit at a zoo. A young woman, mid-20s, blonde, stunning in a way that suggested professional help, approached with a champagne flute and a predatory smile. "Amanda Whitmore," she introduced herself. "Senator Whitmore's daughter. I'm sure Dermont's mentioned me." He hadn't. "He's mentioned a lot of people," Cynthia said carefully. "We were supposed to announce our engagement next month." Amanda's smile sharpened. "Before Dermont apparently eloped with... What did you say you did?" The room had gone quiet. Everyone was listening. Cynthia felt Dermont's hand find the small of her back, a silent show of solidarity. "I made a choice," Cynthia said, "to marry someone I'm compatible with." That's what I do. How romantic. Amanda's tone suggested the opposite. "And what do you bring to this marriage exactly? Besides obvious financial desperation?" The room went deadly silent. Cynthia's hand moved toward her wedding band, the signal to leave. But then she remembered something Shauna, the nurse, had said. Fear means it matters. And Amanda Whitmore was trying to make her afraid. "I bring myself," Cynthia said clearly, "which is apparently more than Dermont wanted from you." Several people gasped. Someone laughed. Amanda's face went crimson. Dermont's hand tightened on Cynthia's back, not in warning but in approval. "If you'll excuse us," he said smoothly, "my wife and I need to say hello to the rest of the family." He guided Cynthia away, his lips close to her ear. That was either very brave or very stupid. "You said don't let them intimidate me." "I did." His voice held unmistakable pride. "But now you've made an enemy." "I think I already had one." They were halfway across the room when Margaret Blake's voice rang out. "Dermont, a word, alone." It wasn't a request. Dermont looked at Cynthia. "Will you be okay for 5 minutes?" "No." "Yes." He squeezed her hand once, then followed his mother into a side room. Cynthia stood alone among Boston's elite, wearing a dress that cost more than her car, playing a role she had no script for, and realized with startling clarity, Dermont Blake might have bought her presence at this marriage. But he was about to find out that Cynthia Hopkins didn't stay bought. She played by her own rules. Starting now, and Cynthia survived the lunch from hell by doing what she'd always done: observing. She watched Margaret Blake orchestrate conversations like a conductor, steering everyone away from topics that might make Dermont and his sudden bride look legitimate. She watched Isabel, Dermont's sister, take notes on her phone every time Cynthia spoke, probably fact-checking in real time. She watched Amanda Whitmore glare daggers while flirting with a congressman's son. And she watched Dermont watch her. Every time someone asked a pointed question, his jaw tightened. Every subtle insult sent his hand to her knee under the table. A silent reminder: I'm here. When his father asked what skills she brought to the marriage, Dermont's voice went cold enough to frost the windows. Cynthia brings herself. That's sufficient. It should have felt patronizing. Yes, instead, it felt like being defended. By the time they escaped to the car, Cynthia's face hurt from fake smiling. You did well, Dermont said as the estate disappeared behind them. I did terribly. Your mother hates me. Your sister thinks I'm a con artist. And Amanda Whitmore is probably hiring a hitman as we speak. All accurate. He loosened his tie. But you didn't run. Most people would have. I signed a contract. Running isn't an option. It's always an option. You chose to stay. His eyes met hers. Why? Because Elijah was at MIT. Because her grandmother's house was safe. Because she'd made a deal. But also, and this was the part that scared her, because walking away from Dermont Blake felt impossible now. Like she'd already invested too much of herself to retreat. I don't quit things, she said instead. Neither do I. Something in his tone made her pulse quicken. Which means we're stuck with each other for the next 12 months. Lucky us. His lips curved. Driver, change of plans. Take us to the marina. Cynthia blinked. The what? Marina, where boats live. You've had a traumatic afternoon. You deserve something better than going home to an empty penthouse. I thought you had work. I do. I'm choosing not to do it. He was already texting someone. Have you ever been on a boat? Does the ferry to the harbor islands count? No. He looked genuinely horrified. We're fixing that immediately. The boat was less a boat and more a floating palace. Cynthia stood on the deck of Dermont's yacht, because of course he had a yacht, watching Boston's skyline shrink behind them. This is insane, she said for the third time. This is Wednesday. Dermont appeared beside her with 2 glasses of wine. I come out here when I need to think, or escape my family. Today, it's both. You could have just dropped me at the penthouse. I could have. He handed her a glass. But then, you'd spend the evening replaying every terrible moment from lunch, and I'd spend it working, and we'd both be miserable separately. This way, we're miserable together. You're not miserable. I'm with you instead of in my office. That's the definition of progress for me. He leaned against the railing. Tell me something true, Cynthia. The request caught her off guard. What? Something true. Something you've never told anyone. At her hesitation, he added, I'll go first. I hate my father. Not business disagreement hate, real hate. Into the kind where I fantasize about hostile takeovers of his pet projects just to watch him fail. The casual brutality of the admission shocked her. That's dark. That's honest. His ice blue eyes challenged her. Your turn. Cynthia took a long sip of wine. The sun was setting, painting the water gold and pink. It felt like the kind of moment where confessions were safe. "I'm terrified," she said quietly. "Of all of this, of your world, of failing, of you. Me specifically? You kissed me last night like it meant something, and I've never—" She stopped, face burning. "Never been kissed before?" His voice was gentle. "Never been kissed like that." The truth spilled out. "I've never been kissed at all. Never had time for dating or romance or any of the normal things people do. And now I'm married to someone who probably has a black book full of experienced, beautiful women who actually know what they're doing." The silence stretched. Then Dermont set down his wine and turned her to face him. "Let me make something very clear," he said. "I don't have a black book. I have work, obligations, and family drama. The women you're imagining don't exist. Or if they did, they were fleeting and forgettable." His thumb brushed her jaw. "And Cynthia? That kiss meant something to me too." Her breath caught. "You're just saying that. I'm a lot of things. A liar isn't one of them." He stepped closer, close enough that she had to tilt her head back. "I married you because it was practical, smart business. But standing here now, I'm starting to think I'm the one who got the better end of this deal. You're definitely lying now. Test me." The challenge was soft but unmistakable. "Ask me anything. I'll tell you the truth." Cynthia's mind raced. "Why were you at that charity gala 3 months ago?" The truth. "My mother was hosting. I was required to attend." He smiled slightly. "I was planning to leave early, fake a work emergency. Then you spilled champagne on my shoes, looked mortified, and I thought, finally, someone real. Someone who doesn't see me as Dermont Blake, billionaire asshole. Just as a guy whose shoes got ruined. I still feel bad about that. Don't. Best thing that happened to me all year." His hand slid to her waist. "Next question. The scar on your ribs, where'd it come from?" His expression shuddered slightly. "Appendectomy, age 15. Yeah, I was at boarding school. My parents were in Monaco. They didn't come back for 3 days. The casual delivery didn't hide the old wound beneath. Isabel visited, snuck me real food and terrible movies. She's the only one who—" He stopped. "Your turn. Truth for truth. That's not how this works. That's exactly how this works. I'm making new rules." His eyes gleamed with challenge. "Are you afraid?" "Of what?" "Of me knowing you as well as I want to." The admission sent heat cascading through her. "Yes." "Good. Stay afraid. It means this matters." He echoed Shauna's words from the diner, and Cynthia wondered if he somehow knew. "Now answer the question. Something true." The wine and the sunset and his proximity made her reckless. "I touch my wedding band when I'm nervous. The hummingbird one. I trace the pattern and pretend it means something real instead of just this." Dermont's expression softened in a way she'd never seen. "It is real. It's a business arrangement. So was the band. Until I chose hummingbird specifically because they reminded me of you." He caught her hand, brought it to his lips, kissed the exact spot where the wedding band sat. "Your grandmother's garden, the way you probably watched them for hours, finding peace in small things. I wanted you to have that here. Something that was yours in all this performance." Cynthia's eyes burned. "Stop doing that." "Doing what?" "Being thoughtful, making this feel like more than it is. What if I want it to be more?" The question hung between them, dangerous and devastating. "You don't. You can't. This is temporary." 12 months, he agreed. But temporary doesn't mean meaningless. He cupped her face the way he had before kissing her at their wedding. I'm going to ask you something, and you can say no. I'll respect it, and we'll never speak of it again. Her heart hammered. What? Can I kiss you again? Not for a judge or a certificate, just because I want to. Because you're standing here in the sunset looking at me like you might want it too, and I'm tired of pretending this is only business. Cynthia should say no, should maintain boundaries, should protect herself from the inevitable heartbreak when this year ended. Instead, she whispered, yes. This time, the kiss was different, slower, deliberate. Dermont's hands framed her face like she was something precious, his mouth moving over hers with a patience that made her knees weak. Cynthia's hands fisted in his suit jacket, pulling him closer, learning the taste of him, wine and want, and something uniquely Dermont. When his tongue traced her lower lip, she gasped, and he took the invitation, deepening the kiss until she was drowning in sensation. Heat pooled low in her belly. Her entire body came alive in ways she'd only imagined. This was what people wrote songs about, went crazy over, ruined their lives for. She understood now. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Dermont rested his forehead against hers. Cynthia, don't. She couldn't hear regret right now, couldn't handle him taking it back. Just don't. I was going to say you're dangerous. She laughed, shaky and breathless. I'm the least dangerous person you know. Wrong. You make me want things I shouldn't. I'd make me forget this is supposed to be temporary. His thumb traced her jaw. That's the most dangerous thing in the world. They stood like that as the sun set completely, the yacht rocking gently, Boston's lights beginning to sparkle in the distance. We should head back, Dermont said finally, though he made no move to let her go. Probably. Your brother's probably worried. Definitely. And I have a 7 a.m. meeting I should prepare for. Sounds terrible. It is. He smiled against her hair. Stay out here with me anyway, just for a while? It was foolish, reckless, exactly the kind of thing that would make ending this harder. Cynthia did it anyway. They stayed on the deck until the stars came out, rare and faint in Boston's light pollution, but visible if you knew where to look. Dermont pointed out constellations. I told her terrible jokes about Greek mythology. And somewhere in the laughter and the easy conversation, Cynthia realized something terrifying. She was starting to like her husband. Not just attracted to him, not just grateful. Actually, genuinely like him. What are you thinking? Dermont asked, catching her expression. That this was supposed to be simple. Nothing worth having is simple. Is that your business philosophy? That's my everything philosophy. He pulled her closer as the wind picked up. Cold? A little? He shrugged off his suit jacket, draped it over her shoulders. The gesture was so casually intimate that Cynthia's throat tightened. Dermont? Thank you. For today. For defending me at lunch. For this. She gestured at the yacht, the sunset, the moment. You don't need to thank me for treating you like a person. Most people don't. His jaw tightened. Most people are idiots. He turned her to face him. Cynthia, I meant what I said. Every word. You're not just some arrangement to me, you're... He stopped, seeming to wrestle with something. I don't know what you are yet, but you're not nothing. The confession hung between them, honest and raw. Cynthia reached up, traced the line of his jaw, the first time she'd initiated touch beyond their kisses. You're not nothing to me either, she admitted, which is probably going to make this year really complicated. Probably. He caught her hand, pressed a kiss to her palm. But I'm starting to think complicated might be worth it. When they finally returned to the penthouse that night, something had shifted, and they said goodnight at her bedroom door. No kiss, just Dermont's hand lingering on hers a moment too long. Sleep well, Mrs. Blake. You too, Mr. Blake. But Cynthia didn't sleep well. She lay awake, wearing his suit jacket because it smelled like him, tracing the hummingbirds on her wedding band, and wondered what happened when a business arrangement started feeling like something real. What happened when temporary started feeling like forever? What happened when the virgin bride fell for the ruthless billionaire who was never supposed to be more than a contract? Cynthia woke to her phone exploding with notifications. She grabbed it groggily, squinting at the screen. 53 missed calls, hundreds of texts, and her social media, which she barely used, had blown up overnight. The first headline made her stomach drop. Billionaire Dermont Blake's secret bride. From waitress to Mrs. Blake. In one night there was a photo, her and Dermont on the yacht, kissing in the sunset. Someone had been following them, or had a very good telephoto lens. Her hands shook as she scrolled through more articles. Gold digger or true love? The mysterious Cynthia Hopkins Blake family in crisis. Dermont's shocking marriage to unknown woman senator's daughter. Jilted. Amanda Whitmore speaks out on betrayal. That last one included a quote. I thought Dermont and I had an understanding. To be replaced by someone so unsuitable is heartbreaking. Cynthia barely made it to the bathroom before she threw up.